We're back. Magic Treasure House time. And this time around, we got a lot to do. Lots of itty bitty little accessories. Alright, here we go. We got a lot to do before the grand finale. And of course, we have books. And these are the good old Z-fold books. And I always pre-crease. I'm going to just use my little toothpick here to put little indents where it will fold. Makes it a lot easier, believe me. And then you just fold it up. And there's a lot of them. 6 to be exact. And I'm just going to glue the back end here so that the pages stay together. I don't know if I've said that before, but sometimes they like them left open, it looks like you're reading the books. Sometimes they like them all closed so that you can stack them up. I leave it as is for now and just glue them as you need them to fit in your project at the end. And we have a couple little suitcases. This is 2 of many that we're going to make. And first off, we're going to make the handles. And all you do is you kind of, you make a little indent in the middle. And I'm using my needle nose pliers. They have nice little round ends so that you can make it as wide or as skinny as you want. And I'm just going to make a indent in the middle and then flip the little sides out like wings. And you're going to make 2 of those. Then you're just going to cover these little tiles of wood here. I pre-crease it just to make it nice and sharp. You don't really need to because you can use the wood as your creaser, so to say, and then just stick it on. I'm using double sticky tape, double-sided tape. You can use a very light dusting of the glue. Again, I'm not going to use the glue that it came with. It's just really runny school glue, very generic. And it'd probably be okay with the paper, but it's very watery. And water and paper, it might bubble, it might seep through, might make the printing bleed. So I'm just going to use my own glues and tapes. Just wrap it up. Once you have your little suitcases, you got to put your handles on. And I'm just using my tacky glue, just a teeny bit. This all dries clear, so no worries if it gloops anywhere. I am notorious for glue gloop. And you're going to make 2 of those. Very cute. Now you're going to make this little cart. It's got all sorts of goodies on top. So you just build it as it says, and you are going to use glue, just like building any other shelf. Once you get this far, then it's got a little, where you're going to push your cart around. So just glue it on the end. And I'll say I probably, if I would have looked ahead a little bit, because it's got like a little flag that goes over the end, maybe put the flag on first and then glue it on. Because I end up taking this off, or it kind of falls off as I'm putting the little towel or flag or whatever it's supposed to be on the end. Either way, it works out. You're going to see what I mean here. And I do kind of pre-crease it on the top just so, because I know that that little handle there is kind of delicate. It's still drying on the glue. And I'm just going to crease it so that it fits over the handle. It does fall off. I'm just going to glue it on and meet at the bottom, line them up, and then glue it back on the cart. Now they provide this little chain. It's just an accessory, and I just cut it to the size that they say. You do use this chain later on, so don't use it all up. It's tempting, but let's say you used it up and you don't have any more chain. You could probably use an old necklace somewhere. I'm sure you got an old Claire's cheapy necklace somewhere that you can cut up. I save everything for stuff like this, you know. Alright, now let's place some goodies. You do have a folded little piece of paper that goes on top. Easy, just fold it however you like, and then place it on first, and then all your goodies on top. It's all in layers. Some of these items are going to be callbacks from the previous video. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and go back and you can see how I made, for instance, this little crystal candle? Crystal ball? I'm not sure. But that was in the previous video. And we'll just add the little suitcase at the bottom, and that's pretty much done. And then you got to put little wheels. I think it's really clever to use these snaps as wheels. I see, and they also use them as bottle toppers and jar lids and things like that. I'm going to store this away in my brain for when I make things from scratch. It's this is why we do this. We learn these little tips and tricks. And it's like, oh, that's very clever. And this turns out really cute. Alright, now we're going to make the big bookshelf. It always looks bigger in the picture. If you guys are all veterans in making kits, I'm sure, but these are usually way bigger. And so this kit, just be warned, is very small scaled. So this little bookshelf, this is just going to tell you how small this house is. It's about, I would say a third smaller than what you're probably used to. Definitely half smaller than a dollhouse. in this bookcase, there's this little floating watch clock, and you're just gonna cut your wire to the size. And what's nice is I noticed in this book, they do give you a measurement in the actual book. So if you did not have a ruler at all, you're good because they have it right here. And I did double check it. It is accurate. I checked it with my ruler. So just measure it to that. All else fails. And you're just going to put it in the middle and then twist it up. Look a little something like this. How we're gonna place it in our bookshelf. I didn't put the back paper on. They wanted you to do it the back paper first and then do the clock. I just decided that I'm thinking that this would be a lot easier without that back paper. So I'm gonna put the clock in first and then back it. And you're just gonna place it in here, and then I just wound it up on the ends to hold it in place. It does stay there, I promise. Yeah, it doesn't really tell you to do this, but instinct tells me to do this. It just says, penetrate the clock into the hole, stick to the wood, and that's all it tells you. So I would put a little loop at the ends just to secure it. And now we're just going to put the backing paper on. Just make sure there's a little notch at the top right there. Just make sure that's at the top. I'm sure it's going to be for a light bulb of some sort or wires. Alright, they call this Cashier, so this must be where we do all our purchases. We do it old school with pen and ink, not a cashier cash register. So first thing, we're going to make a little display box for our hand. I know there's a name for it. Is it the monkey's paw or something like that? Yeah, that thing. So I'm going to pre-crease it. I'm going to use my awl here and ruler. It does help a little bit. And then you just fold it up and glue it. You're going to end up holding this quite a bit. And make sure you take the protective cover off right there. Don't forget. I had to hold this in place for quite a while. You can't really use clothespins to hold it shut, so you're just gonna have to sit there and watch a couple YouTube videos, right? Alright, we're just gonna make our little quill here, and you just put the feather into the little inkwell. just like that. And same thing, we're gonna put our hand in the stand. That way it stands up nicely. Now we're gonna make our counter, so just make sure your printing is on the outside so that you can see the little design. And you're just gonna build it just like any other box. If it's loose, definitely glue it. This one wasn't too bad. And especially once you put the top on, it kind of holds itself together. There's a little side door here that's held up by the hinge. I originally put it on the wrong side. The picture kind of is deceiving, so you have to really stare at that to make sure you got it on the right side. But you just glue it on the side. I used a clothespin to hold it up a little bit in place, but after a while, especially once I started putting things on top, it was like, I think that's on the wrong side. And I don't know where it's going to be placed in the final project, so we're going to make sure that we put it on the right spot so that it fits in its specific spot. Yeah, it's when I put this piece of paper, or the tablecloth, I guess it's supposed to be. Once I put that on there, I realized, my counter, my little hinge is on the wrong side, so I flipped it. Alright, now let's put all our goodies on top. And we had to cover that hand with our display glass too. We call this decorations at the stairs. I have no idea what that means, but we'll find out, right? So basically what we're going to make, first off, is we're going to do a little grandfather clock. We're also going to make a mirror. It's pretty easy. I didn't use, you could use there's a template that you can actually use to the size. I just glued it on the back and then cut it to size. We have this fun little display case here. So you're just going to sandwich the front Or actually, the one with the little triangle at the top, that goes in the middle. There's a piece that goes in the front, and then you're going to put the backing, the decorative paper on the back. This one does give a good diagram of what it's supposed to be. Once you got that all together, then you're going to get all your little tiny beads and just put them in the holes. You can put them in any order you like. I just happen to do them how it showed in the picture, just so that you can see what they wanted you to have it look like. I don't think it matters, to be honest. Alright, now we're going to make the grandfather clock, and you're just going to put this little piece of paper. It's not my favorite. This one doesn't turn out very cute or cool. Actually, you probably could just leave it as the plain brown wood and it would look just fine, to be honest. But what you do is you just stick the paper on the front. I had the little foot, for me, it ripped off when I tried to take it out of the main page there. Just glue it right on. And I'm sure this one is probably going to be hidden in the back somewhere, covered by stuff, so you probably won't even see it. Then you're going to put the clock face in. I decided to go in from the back just to kind of have it set in more. Doesn't really, it just says stick it. That's all it gives you. So make it how you feel it looks right. And the last piece in this bunch is this cool window. So you're going to have this funky looking little cardboard piece, and you're just going to fold it. So you're going to make a window sill for the stained glass to set in. It's confusing at first, but once you get it all folded, it'll make sense. And once you get this all folded up, that little skinny piece goes behind the stained glass. It kind of holds it in place. So I'm going to glue all along the sill here. Make sure you take the clear covering off so it's nice and shiny, and just glue it directly onto the cardboard pieces. And then put the little arm, I guess it would be, behind to hold it up. More books. So this one, we're going to stack some. There's going to be some 2 that are stacked up 3 in 3s and 2 in 2. Did that make sense? So 2 3s, 2 2s. Once you got them stacked, then you're going to wrap them. So there's going to be one that goes around the edges. That's kind of going to look like the pages in the book. And then once you get those going, you're going to do another one that goes the other way around, and that's the front cover and the sides of the book. So it's a faux stack of books. I will say that every single one of these, the stickers popped right off. So I would suggest just glue them all on, because the glue, well, at least with mine, did not stick to the wood. So just glue them all. When you get those all done and stuck together, you should have 4 all together. So you should have 2 sets of 3 and 2 sets of 2. So the ones that are double stacked, we're going to add a little bit more to this. For these 2, we got a couple little crystals we want to put on top. So you just put the little gold pieces at the bottom and then stack your lovely little magical crystals right on top. Ta-da! Like that. Alright, we're not done with suitcases yet. We got 3 more to do. And it's the same thing as the other one, except we're not putting handles on them. So it's even easier. So take your wood. These are going to be double stacked, and you're going to have 3 sets of those. And then you're just going to wrap them up in the paper. And you should end up with 3 cute little suitcases. There's no printing on the bottom, but that's okay, because it seems like we're going to be just setting it down and we won't see the bottom. All right, we got a couple little bottles, and you're just going to put the flat flowery piece on top and then the bead on top of that. So it looks like a stopper on the jar. Just little potions. Get used to rolling up scrolls, because you got a lot to do. And this is just 2 of them. So these, we're cutting them in half and roll them up. I'm using my double sticky tape. You could use glue too. Whatever's easier for you. Of course, you have to have a witch's hat. That's easy. So what we're going to do is make a little cone, glue that on to the brim, and then you're going to put a little buckle around it. Classic witch hat. Ta-da! Now we're going to make a couple different boxes. So this first one is basically like a suitcase that's open. So, or a trunk, I guess. So we're going to put this sticker on to the bottom here and up the sides. Again, this one did not stick for me at all, so I did end up gluing it. I just stuck it on and glue it, and then there's a little, then you put another sticker on the bottom, because that, if you're thinking like I did, like, wait, it's going to be all, the glue's exposed, you got a sticker that fits exactly in the bottom of that. And you're going to make two pieces exactly like that. And like I said, I glued everything. And then you're going to, this is the tricky part. I use my double sticky tape. It seemed to work really well for an instant stick, but you open it at an angle. If you glue this, which I've done in the past, you just have to prop it up and let it dry completely before you go to the next step. And we're just going to put a couple little postcards. Now, on some of these little stickers they give you a whole bunch that are the same part number because you use them in different areas in the project. Now, if you get them all mixed up and you use the wrong one in the wrong place, I honestly don't think it matters. Because this little gray one, not the butterfly one, but the little gray one, I believe was supposed to go on a little jar later on. It's okay. Nobody's gonna notice except you, right? And now we're just gonna fill our little box with all our little goodies. Alright, now we have a real treasure box. So the one thing I didn't film for some reason is that top piece on the sticker is just folded in half. So it's stuck to itself. And then we have the little side pieces of the little half circle with a little pirate skull on it. So there's two of those. And it'll all make sense in a minute. Alright, so what you're going to do is take this piece. I started where the picture of the hinge is, and it does fit exactly on there. So just start on one end and then go all the way around. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And now you have your top door of your pirate treasure chest. And the bottom of the chest is done just like you did that other one, except it's double stacked. And again, I did glue the sides of the sticker because it did not want to stick for me. Now they want you to, because you get a lot of extra little rocks and jewels and things, so you're going to fill up this box, but then they want you to put the lid on it, and it's closed, so you never really see these. So I didn't go too crazy with the jewels inside, especially if it's not going to be open. But I suppose you could overfill it and then kind of glue it where it's slightly ajar, a little bit open. But I just glued it shut. Well, you can sure tell when the sunshine is coming through the window, right? I'm more lit up. So what we're going to do is a whole bunch of storage boxes. The first one is kind of just the standard, like an Amazon box kind of thing. But we're not getting it from Amazon. We're getting it from, what's a magical version of Amazon? I don't know. Alakazamazon. So we're just going to fold this up, but leave the top open. Remember I said get used to rolling up little scrolls and newspapers? Well, you got a bunch more here. So just roll them up. All right, now we're going to make 3 little crates. So mine were very loose, so I glued everything. You're just going to put the 2 ends and then the 2 sides on there, making a little box. 3 little boxes, actually. There we go. Now let's fill these guys up. We've done these before. I just make them as I go because, like I said before, if I make them ahead of time, I'm going to lose these tiny things. So I just make them as I need them. And it's just folding it in half to make it look like a little envelope. We need a couple more potions. And I decided I'm going to use a little trick of, somebody told me, why don't you just put it on the end of a wire? I always forget to try this, so it is a lot easier, believe me. So I'm just going to put it on the end of the wire and put the little flower piece and the little bead on the top. Just be careful, don't glue it to the wire itself. Take it off before it's dry. Alright, this first little box, we're going to flip it upside down and we're going to place 3 little bottles on it. So that's going to be our first one. This other little crate is going to store a whole bunch of letters and newspapers. So just put maybe 2 2 or 3 of those little rolled up newspapers you did. You can distribute this however you want, to be honest. And our little Alakazamazon box here is just going to be full of newspapers. So just put it in there. There you go. You got a bunch of boxes full and then one that's empty. We're almost there. We're getting there. Now we got the fun stuff. You know, we got to make a magic staff. You know, thou shalt not pass. So the first thing you're gonna do is put a little bead in the middle, and it threw me off because I have 2 blue beads left. So it's not the big one; it's the little one, and it does jam in there. I barely even had to glue it. So just shove it in the crook there. And then what you're going to do is going to take your thinner copper wire and just wrap it around the end there, just to make it look cool. I didn't measure, I just wrapped it as many times as looked right. It does give you a measurement. Alright, now we gotta make a broom. This was actually, I really liked making this little guy. It's very easy. It looks intimidating. I promise you it's not. So you're gonna take a bit of this rope, and then we're going to cut it to size and then fold it and then fold it in half. So you got a little bundle. And then you're going to put it on the end of your little broomstick here. I didn't have to glue it, but you can certainly put a dab of glue in there if you're nervous. And then you're going to wrap it with the wire, just like you did the staff. So if you wrap it tight enough, you really don't have to glue it. Once you got it wrapped and secured on there, just trim the ends, give it a little haircut. And it's fine if it's not perfect. Witches' brooms are not perfect. Just like that. You got yourself a little broom. Last thing we're going to do is put a couple strips of the chain. I'm imagining this is going to be a sign of some sort. So I'm just going to cut it to size. And then what I did is I laid it down on my table and then wrapped it from there. It's a lot easier than doing it hanging in the air. And then just let it dry. I used my clear alcohol glue. It glooped all over at first, but and then just let it dry on. I like to use that whenever I use metals and plastics. It just seems to glue better. And there we go. We got the little glue sign, or glue sign, the Broom sign. Broom. All right, they call these energy meters. Hey, who are we to doubt, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is kind of looks like these little gyroscope guys, and you're gonna have two little beads, two of them with two different colors, so one green, one blue, and just kind of put it in the middle. It took me a minute to jam them in there, but they do go in there. You don't have to be too gentle. And if it did break, which I'm surprised I didn't break it, you could just glue it in there. So you should end up with something a little like that. Two of them. And then what we're going to do is put the base on. And mine were very loose, so I glued both of them and set them aside. I have a little bottle cap here that I just put a dollop of glue in. It is a lot easier. Sometimes I forget that I have this, and then I just dab my tiny pieces, especially something like this that I don't have a third hand for. So I just put a little glue on the ends, and you're going to make a opposing circle go in the opposite direction here. So it looks like a gyroscope, basically, or energy meter, as they call them. And you're going to do two of these. Ta-da! And those are done. Alright, now we're going to make one more little energy meter. This one's a little funky, so we're going to take this stone, this very magical stone. It's going to go in the middle of a wire, and it's going to get glued onto here. So do this in stages. I kind of just eyeballed how long it would be, because I got a little paranoid that I might have cut it too short and it wouldn't fit there. So I just put it on there, cut it, and then glued it on and set it aside. I propped it up between a couple of my spools of thread here and let it dry while I did the next step. While that's drying, I'm going to make the base before I stick that heavy piece on there. So it's just going to like kind of propped against this, looks like a tower of some sort. And there's no measurements or anything. So there's going to be a little short wall on one side and then the yellow piece on the other side. You just kind of have to eyeball it until it's level. Once I knew that was going to stand on its own and it's pretty level, now we can put the stone in it. And it's going to go in kind of at a wonky angle and just glue it in there. I did have to glue the stone in the middle as well, because otherwise it would slide all the way down to the bottom, and it doesn't, that's not the effect we want. We want it right in the middle. And if we did everything right, it should look something like that. Alright, we got a lot of little bits and bobs, and uh-oh, did you see that? We have one plant. Don't worry, it's very easy. We can do this. First thing we're going to do is a little jar of things. So we're just going to put the little snap at the bottom and then fill it with a couple of little green beads or whatever beads you happen to have left. I'm finding that I'm short this color bead or that color bead, but I don't think it matters as long as it looks cool. You're gonna put the top on and then put a little sticker on the side, which I did glue because I don't trust these stickers anymore. You got a little jar. I like these blue beads a lot. And here's our one and only plant. You literally just take that and do that. I did cut the end off a little bit so it fit in there better. Done. We got another crystal ball. This one's on a tall stand, so just stick it on there. You have this little banner. I kept the wire long while I was building this, so I stuck the gold bead on the end, glued the banner on there, and then cut it to size. Believe me, it's nice to have a little handle to hold until the very last minute that you don't need to have the long piece. Ta-da! We got the lion. What is that, Gryffindor? Is the lion Gryffindor? Alright, we had one more crystal ball, and when you know it, I have no more crystal ball beads. So, where did that one go? And I looked around. Either I used it where I shouldn't have or something, but I have a bunch of beads, so I went through my stuff, something close, and this one right here, I think it's the right size. So we're gonna go for size. Yeah, I think that one's gonna work. That'll work. And you just glue the little collar on the bottom. There we go. All right, the last of the little things. We have a whole bunch of signs. So these are pretty straightforward. A lot of them, you just gonna stick them onto the corresponding piece of wood. So for example, this guy, I think they just went through and got a bunch of clip art that looked magical. So I don't know what the copyright is on this. We'll just pretend. But the World of Warcraft little sign goes on here. This one's a sticker and it's two-sided. And if you need to, definitely put a dibble of glue on there. Another sign. This one's only on the one side. Just make sure you do it on the right side. Got a little easel. This one doesn't have a back foot, so I'm thinking that it's probably going to be on a wall. So, but it does have a little ledge that you glue on the front to hold your picture. in 5 little pictures. So just glue them on. They're all the same size, so you can mix them up however you want. And then just put one of your pictures on the easel. I just chose the one that they showed in the picture. The ghost and ghouls. Hoo-wee! We did a lot this time around. There was a lot of little teeny things. So we did a few, well, just one real big bookshelf, a couple little counters, lots of little boxes and books and pictures and signs and even a broom and crates and crystal balls. I think we're ready. It's nice to get these done ahead of time. Now, the next video will be the fun one where we put it all together and see how this building's gonna look. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the fun. And I will see you in the finale, the next video. Bye!